Yep, the demons of the frame trap. We need them. We need them, Jeff. Hello, and welcome to episode 101 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I am Jeff, man.
It's a new era, Jeff. Path to 200. Let's go.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo! That's weird. It's super weird.
Yep.
Jeff, well, I am back. Really, in the span of this podcast, we actually didn't miss any, so it just feels like I've been gone way longer than I actually have. But I was out not playing video games. I was playing the game of life.
What a loser.
Walking up some mountains, getting all sweaty, seeing some buffalo, bison, and longhorns.
Same
and prairie
thing.
dogs. Prairie dogs are adorable. That's what I learned. I was in Oklahoma, by the way. I also learned that 17-hour car rides are brutal. No video games, though I will say, like, as I was like going through the terrain there, I've never been to the west at all, so this was a completely new terrain to me. I said multiple times, like, while we were driving through, I was like, this looks like Red Dead Redemption 2. It's like, this straight up looks like Red Dead Redemption. That was a prevailing thought in my mind every single time. It was like, how much fun would it be to ride a horse through this? It'd be fun. Jeff, how have you been doing this post E3 time?
Doing pretty good. I played some games. Did a lot of work in, but I managed to play some games.
Yeah. How you feeling about E3 and the news and everything? Just a little bit outside of it.
Feel good. I think people are honestly, I feel like people were way too down on E3. Like, oh, Sony was completely 100% justified to quit E3, or like, I don't know. It seemed like people being hyperbolic, like E3 was nothing without Sony or something.
Yeah, I agree. I do. I mean, I obviously think it was weaker than maybe we expected, but I also think it's still one of the better E3s as far as like the games we got to see.
Yeah.
Like, even if some of the announcements and stuff were underwhelming because like lack of gameplay was a huge trend with a lot of these, and just lack of substantial showings, but even when you throw that aside, just some of the games that we got to see with Final Fantasy VII, even getting to see Avengers for the ups and downs of it or whatever, 2 awesome new Smash characters, Astral Chain, Cyberpunk. I mean, there was plenty.
New Tales, Darby.
New Tales that just looks insane. I mean, Phantasy Star Online, not for us, but I mean, like, that's
it's free to play.
colossal.
Let's try it out.
Absolutely try it out. Yeah, but that's a colossal announcement.
Yeah.
There was a lot of awesome moments, and the more I think about this E3, the better it gets. I mean, like I said, it's nowhere near 2017 and 2018, and maybe even some of the ones before it. But in the grand scheme of E3s, I still think, especially for a last or second to last in the console generation, I think it was.
Well, it's the last one before they start really talking about console, the next console generation, because that's going to be a main focus of next year's.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think, like, in some ways, I'm somewhere in between with the Sony thing. I don't think Sony missed much by not being here, because I honestly think they just didn't have a whole lot to show right now.
Yeah.
But I also don't think it was one of those, like...
I think people are doing kind of being hyperbolic and clickbait with the whole, Sony made the right choice skipping E3 as far as E3 not being good or something.
Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily E3's fault. I think it's just Sony didn't... so I don't think Sony necessarily needed it, but I also don't think Sony was like, they dodged a bullet. It was like, it was...
Yeah, it's kind of, I was getting at,
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that, because, I mean, I don't... Honestly, even if some of the things were disappointing, I don't feel worse about Xbox right now after this conference. And in fact, I went out and gave them money. I went out and bought Game Pass for PC. This is the first time I've given Xbox money in quite a while. So that is something. Well, Jeff, I haven't been playing games this week, but you apparently have, and I don't even have any clue what you're about to talk about. So.
Well, let's start with a game I talked about before that I beat at some point, Katana Zero, Darby. I finished that game.
Beat it. It's done.
Yeah. It's a pretty good video game, Darby.
Yeah.
Pretty good video game.
Yeah. It lived up to the hype and to how good you felt about it early on.
Yep. Darby, the kills feel excellent.
Good kills. Quality kills.
Quality kills. And his whole thing of kind of like Celeste and a lot of the games like that, where you die, you're quickly back into the action, you start again, you don't feel necessarily frustrated when dying. When you normally when you die, you know what you did and all that kind of stuff. Checkpoints are good. and satisfying and all that. So
how did the story end up? 'Cause I know that that seemed to be kind of one of the signature hooks of this, is that like it's like this 2D action game or whatever, but as opposed to most of these, like it actually kind of was laying the groundwork of a kind of interesting narrative with the whole therapist thing and
yeah, I think the story ended up pretty interesting. Though I will say, I saw people bring this up, just in reviews and all that, without being spoilery, that it did feel like it ended very subtly and just on a cliffhanger where it's kind of like, oh, yeah. So it just kind of ended as like setting up for a sequel, but it just kind of felt sudden and not completely satisfying.
Yeah.
So that was a bummer. But still, it was like a $15 game. So
I wonder if that has to do with just like small developer trying to get the game out, By the way, about how long was it?
Like 4 or 5 hours, maybe.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, and one of those games, it just depends how many times you die and all that.
Yeah, like me will be longer because I would.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, after you beat it, you unlock some new modes, like Mayor mode. If you die once, game over, all that kind of stuff. And then there's like time trial stuff or the speed run mode. Yeah.
All right.
Which this would make it for a good speed running game.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in going back sometime and going to different stuff and seeing what the hell choices might reflect things. I expect in the grand scheme of things it's not going to change too much, but just little things, just here and there, dialogue between characters and all that.
Yeah. Just adding flavor.
Yep.
And stuff. Yeah. I imagine this is a game you would recommend to me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, I love the style of it so much, and it seems like. It scratches like I love the style of it. It reminds me of how much I love the style of Celeste, but it obviously is like a different game. It's definitely
Yeah, I definitely want to say this game is hard as Celeste either.
Yeah,
I think it has a good difficulty,
which is perfectly fine. It doesn't. Celeste is damn hard. Not everything has to be that. Well, sweet. I will definitely be picking that up at some point.
Now, time for the Signature games here to talk about.
This rock block of games, Jeff games.
This game I did not. I only played for roughly 25, 30 minutes, something like that. Void Bastards.
Yeah, I've been thinking about, because this is on the Xbox Game Pass for PC.
Yeah, I did play it on PC.
I have been thinking about playing that, yeah.
Yeah. So, this game's a lot more roguelike than I thought it was for some reason. I don't know why. Guess I didn't see all that. So, it's kind of thing you start the game as a nondescript character or whatever, and you have this little robot guy talking to you, saying I can't remember what's the right words. I can't remember, it was like test subject or volunteer or something like that. You're supposed to be a prisoner.
You're expendable.
Like, yeah, each one has a little information about them. Hey, what crime did they did? What crime did this character commit to get thrown into jail? Some likes and dislikes and all that kind of stuff. And based on what I could tell, so yeah, when you die, that character is dead. And you go to a new character. And each character has some kind of like weaknesses and all that kind of stuff. For example, it might have been the second character I played as. He coughs a lot to alert enemies around you. He'll just randomly cough.
That's funny.
Yeah. And all stuff
Damn it, Phil.
Yep. So I didn't get far in this game, so I don't know completely what the objective is necessarily. But what you're doing is you got a little space grid map thing, where you're going from ship to ship, and moving one space takes 1 day and takes one thing of fuel and one food.
Okay.
One thing of
like
food.
Spaceship.
You're scavenging through the thing to find the fuel and food and all that kind of stuff. Early on, it seems like you can, kind of hoard it, but based on what the little I played, when you die, you lose all the food you scavenged up for the next person. The only thing that seems to carry over is at least from early stuff left for items is stuff that you made with crafting. Okay. Because some of this crafting stuff is essential, so it seems so. They're not like, oh, you got to pretty much start the whole game with, like, no, you got to start from scratch as far as your items and all that stuff and ammo and stuff you built up. But
right,
for the most part, the stuff you've crafted.
So in this, are you like moving around a grid for this? Or is
You're
it
moving
like,
from down a grid to go to each map, but then it's like a first-person shooter once you're in the ship.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was about
Really
to say.
very cartoony, has a comic book vibe. Like,
Yeah.
like the
It
story
looks like an
sections,
Adult Swim game.
Yeah, the story sections are a comic book. You're just going from
okay.
panel to panel.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
How are you liking how's the shooting and how's the like story so far?
Again, story hasn't really happened too much.
Yeah.
I'm going towards a story thing. The shooting, kind of basic. You have these little cartoony guys going around. For the most part, you can kill them in one hit if you get a headshot, and some of them explode and all kind of that. So not too difficult, nothing too crazy right now. I imagine it'll get crazier as you go on.
Yeah, a game that you want to continue playing.
Yeah, keep on playing it.
Yeah, cool. Cool. Yeah, I might have. I definitely was thinking about popping that in too, just because the art style alone just looks really cool. But I have seen mixed things. I've seen some people say like the game's good, but it's not for me. I've seen people say the game's all right, and I've seen other people say it's really good. But
Darby, you know what game we need to play that's getting out of the Game Pass soon?
What's that?
Ghost Simulator.
Yeah.
On PC and the...
Are you really a streamer if you don't play Ghost Simulator at least
Darby.
once? Yeah, absolutely. And Supermarket Shriek, which is on on Game Pass. Yeah. So we definitely 100% have to do that.
Yes.
No question. It's gonna happen.
Yep.
It's gonna happen.
So are you ready to hear what I played and beat over the last week? Ori.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Hell yes, dude. I didn't even know you started. Did you tell me you started that? I can't remember.
No, no, I did it after you left.
Nice. So you beat it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Isn't it great?
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love that game. Yeah, I had no clue you were even playing it.
Yep.
Well, yeah, tell me about it.
It's great, Darby. So yeah, I played the definitive edition. So you didn't play the definitive one, right?
I don't think so.
So I'm curious what's different. I think there was like a couple different moves in an area that was new to the definitive edition.
Okay.
Like, did you have like an...
It's been a while since I played it.
Yeah. I think a dash might have been.
I mean, I remember like, well, dash-like moves, I think. But
okay. I can't remember. I know there's something about some of them that...
It's been like 2 years since I played it or something like that.
There's one area that's kind of screamed like new area, and then I got 2 different like moves for Ori in it, so I imagine that stuff. I can't remember what it was.
Probably.
Exactly.
But yeah, I should maybe go back and see. That's on Game Pass.
Yep.
So I should. I mean, I would have to play through the whole thing probably. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, does it have you stoked for?
Oh yeah.
Will of the Wisps? I mean,
of course.
The art style and the music is just good.
I didn't realize the significance of the baby owl in the trailers until now.
Oh yeah.
It made me sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have any trouble with the water tree? I'm gonna be mad if you just got it in like 2 shots.
I had a little trouble, but it wasn't too bad.
Me and my sister both had a lot of trouble with that tree, that damn tree. I mean, like not as much of a trouble as I've had with like some areas in like Celeste and stuff. Like, I mean, it took me like 2 days, but it was a pain.
It took me maybe, I don't know, less than 30 minutes.
You son of a bitch. You evil son of a bitch.
But Darby, Ori feels so good to play and control, and with all the moves. I mean, here's the thing. Some games like this, the character would kind of feel kind of sluggish to play in the beginning and feel good after you get moves. Ori did, I thought felt good in the beginning, but then you just get more moves and then it just feels better.
yeah. And like it's definitely one of those, as you get a new move and move into a new area, it's like, oh shit, they're doing this now. They're doing this. And
yeah, and of course it does the Metroidvania style thing of you can see the map, you can see all stuff, and you have to go back to with your new moves to collect things. Yeah. Or make some things easier.
Which is definitely super satisfying, especially just because every area in that map is so visually unique. It was just so cool to go back through them and all the enemies and just the animations they have. I mean, it really is just a masterclass as far as like visuals of a Metroidvania. It's just a Metroidvania with like Pixar graphics almost.
I'm very into this because when this game came out, 2015. So 5 years difference.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're trying to use it based on the bosses and new enemies we've seen in the trailers.
Even just the trailers we've seen, the environments and everything look so cool, and I'm sure they're hiding so much. I'm sure there's going to be And yeah, just thinking about the bosses in the original game and the fact that these are probably just going to be even more. It's like, yeah, I'm super stoked for that game. I mean, this was the game I played on and I also played this on a crappy PC. You got to play it on a much better PC because I just like that's how much like I had to play this game. Is I didn't have an Xbox. It's like, all right, I don't play PC games because my laptop sucks. But here we go. But that's awesome. I'm super glad that you finally amended that wrong of not playing Ori and the Blind Forest. Now you're just in time to wait like a year for the less than a year now, but
like 8 months.
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
A lot of stuff, Darby.
Anyone listening, go play Ori and the Blind Forest. Such a good game.
I'm pretty sure I saw it on sale for like less than $10 for the definitive edition on things. So, like maybe even Steam and stuff. I think it's on Steam.
A freaking steal. And if you have Game Pass, right there.
Avi.
All right, Jeff. Is that all the games you got?
Yep.
Cool. Well, I believe it is time for the news. Why don't you give me a news jingle, Jeff?
Jingle, Darby.
There we go. That's what I like to hear.
Yep. And I figured you'd be excited to hear that I played Ori.
Very excited. I was not expecting that one. For you to have started but finished Ori.
Yep.
Without me even knowing.
Yep. I'm a ninja like that.
Just slid right under my nose.
Alright, let's talk about something else you love. This comes from Sal Romano Fukamatsu. The latest issue of Weekly Famitsu has an interview with Final Fantasy VII Remake director Tetsuya Nomura, who shared various new details about the game. Here are the noteworthy tidbits.
Give me some tidbits.
The Watchmen of Fate, also known as the Black Mist in the trailer, are mysterious beings that appear before the party wherever they go. I hope that even those who have played the original game will enjoy the new elements. There are quite a bit of dialogue options. We are making it so the dialogue changes depending on your response, so the sheer volume of dialogue has increased.
Yeah, that's something cool that like we haven't necessarily seen, at least from what I've heard. I've listened to a lot of people describe playing the behind the scenes demos. And I don't think any of that has really shown dialogue options. It's just been like scenes playing out, so it's interesting to hear them like directly say that, you know. I don't know if I really want them to go like crazy with that because I just want them to tell the story.
I need to date Kate Sif, Darby.
Yes, make Kate Sif a dateable party member. I at least want to be able to go on a date with my favorite emo man, Vincent. But yeah, at the very least, if Barrett is not dateable, then this game is already worse than the original, definitively. But yeah.
The Honeybee in cross-dressing event is still in. We made it more modern. If we made the facility like we did in the original game, the physical unease would be staggering. So that was no good.
The physical unease would be staggering. I mean, he's not completely wrong.
That's fancy terms for the cringe would be strong.
Yeah. It's fancy words for we had to rope this in a little bit.
Yeah.
We can't go as crazy as we did in the 90s. No, I think we've kind of beat this to death as far as the wall market and the entire cross-dressing thing or whatever. I wanted to be in there because I think it's a very big part of Final Fantasy, and it's like the biggest example of the wacky side of Final Fantasy. But I also completely support, like, let's maybe tweak it a bit.
Yeah.
There's certain things that maybe can be changed. I mean, like, I still think you can have the shady strip club area or whatever, and, like, it still can seem very sleazy and stuff like that, but maybe without like spoilers. There's like grandparents that are fucking in some room and the honeybee in, like, I don't know, like some of that stuff
that could stay.
Yeah, that could stay. That's good. That's okay.
There are quite a few additions to the scenario. While the main story itself hasn't changed, there are a countless number of new events. Otherwise, we wouldn't have 2 Blu-ray discs. Laughs. And here's something I had in there. Nomura added this at some point. Quote, setting established in the Final Fantasy VII compilation works are newly incorporated and the story has been delved more deeply into.
Crisis Core.
Yeah. No, Darby, just Dirge Cerberus.
Just Dirge Cerberus.
Yeah, so with Crisis Core, everyone's favorite character, Genesis, can be in this game.
Oh my
god! And to people who don't know, I'm Ezra Kazakh. Most people hate Genesis.
Yeah,
I didn't care for him that much either.
How can we ruin Final Fantasy VII?
I liked Angel and stuff. That stuff is cool, but yeah. It's weird to think that, again, I played Crisis Core.
And I haven't.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
Yep. So I have more connection to Zack than Cloud.
It's an odd thing. It's weird that you decided to play that game.
I had a PSP. What else was I going to do?
Yeah, that's true.
Not play? Aerith and Tifa are double heroines. One has the Western style look and the other an Eastern style look. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we wanted Tifa to have abs, so she has an athletic body type. The ethics department at Square Enix also told us that we had to tighten her chest as not to get unnatural during all the intense action. From there, we got the black underwear and fitted tank top. Some weird translation stuff.
Yeah, that's all these. I have to imagine a lot of these things are just like strangely translated. Is Japanese just a really hard language to translate? Because it seems like there's always like weird things with Japanese. But I'm pretty sure I can probably speak for Nerds at Large as a whole with our official statement that just
Don't speak for me, Darby.
Well,
My own man.
You can let me know if this is how you feel, but I think the entire controversy about Tifa is like one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I don't even really want to waste that much time on it, but she looks great. Everything looks great.
People think she's a B cup.
Like she's still busty. Like she's like very attractive. She looks good. She just looks like a real human being would look in like realistic graphics.
I've seen people say that they need lore reasons for why sports bras exist in this world.
Okay, why wouldn't they?
Because they didn't exist in the original game.
Just because you didn't see a sports bra in the original game doesn't mean it didn't.
No, Darby. No.
Also, they should like put in Cloud's Lego hands to say like we really did, we wanted to keep
censorship.
The
Darby,
proportions.
censoring his thighs.
Hashtag not my thighs.
Yep. With an emphasis on immersion and exhilaration, you can fight without stress through the use of shortcuts. When you open the command menu, time slows and you can fight like a command battle. And that's old news. Yeah. Each playable character has different enemy affinities. I expected that based on what I saw, so that makes sense. Yeah. Kind of like a Final Fantasy X situation.
Yeah.
An item is required for MP recovery.
So, ethers. Cool.
Yeah. For the sake of level design, we're preparing a few new enemies where necessary.
I like new stuff.
Yep.
Sounds good. Good to me.
Yep. And Twitter user DKHF posted this on Twitter. Nomura said Final Fantasy VII Remake's material system is basically the same as the originals, and that since the battle system has been revamped, there will be new material to match it, and some material will disappear. This is to a question from Mr. added to the online interview.
I'm interested to see like what exactly that means, because it obviously can't be completely the same just because of how different the battle system is. Yeah. But I imagine it'll just at least like certain things, like as you get new armor, it'll let you put different amounts of material.
I imagine that's what it means, because we've seen that like with Cloud's sword, there's different weapons.
Yeah.
So.
But I wonder if you'll be able to do things like in the original, you could do elemental fire, like pair those two and put it on your sword, and then you would do like fire with your sword, or you do like
I imagine
elemental whatever on your armor. You can do things like that.
I don't think why not.
There's certain ones like you could do all and then fire, like all and then certain attacks like that might not completely work in the active time. That's kind of probably what they mean. But I like that they're at least trying to keep it, you know, like similar. And, yeah.
That's probably when these new materials.
And the cool thing is, here it looks like when you put those material in, you'll actually be able to see them on the character, which is like super
we've seen
cool.
it with Cloud's sword and on Barrett's gun.
Yeah, which is really really cool. Although it might get kind of ridiculous once you have like 8 materia slots and just have like things all over them, just like little orbs all over their bodies. Mm-hmm. But, and see, I'm just so excited to see HD graphics, Kate Sith fighting people with a megaphone. Yeah. A cat piloting a giant stuffed animal, screaming at enemies with a megaphone and hurting them. Yeah. I just want to see. I want to see what the hell that is going to look like. But we're going to have to wait years to see that, probably. Yeah. Unless they change some things. You know?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That just sounds like a Jeff Main if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. I can't believe they got another Superman to voice Sephiroth.
Oh, yeah, you said that it's been like every person who's voiced Sephiroth has also voiced Superman.
I don't know if everyone, but like the guy who voiced Sephiroth like Kingdom Hearts and stuff is the guy who plays Superman in the DC animated universe, so Justice League and the Superman cartoon. Speaking of that, they announced recently for Soda City Comic Con that him and the girl who voices Wonder Woman is going to be there as well. Because they're going to have a DC animated universe panel.
They just have everyone.
Yeah, so that's cool. And yeah, for this game, they got the guy who plays Superman in the CW shows. He's actually a really good Superman.
Is this intentional? I don't know.
I don't know either. But I like that guy, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's cool. But overall, I think like a lot of this was stuff we could have expected, but I think it's still cool stuff nonetheless. I like that, like they basically say the story is going to be the same. We're just like coloring it or shading in the lines in between, which is what the direction I want this to go. You know, I don't want like big overarching story changes, but I want these characters. I want to feel like these characters are way more fleshed out,
and the world be more fleshed out.
Yeah. And honestly, from the very brief things we've already seen, I already feel like they are. Like, there's already things that I'm watching them, and I already feel like I know Barrett and Cloud in this section and their relationship with each other during that bombing mission so much more than you ever did in the original, which is such a good feeling to have.
Yep.
Man. Don't want to wait for this game. I don't want it right now. But it's, yeah.
Let's talk about another game we can't wait for, Darby.
Damn right.
Zelda series producer Eiji Aonuma sharing multiple tidbits in interviews about the Breath of the Wild sequel. Okay, so here we go. Jason Schreier from Kotaku asked Aonuma what made the team decide on a sequel to Breath of the Wild. Aonuma said, quote, "When we released the DLC for Breath of the Wild, we realized that this is a great way to add more elements to the same world. But when it comes down to the technical things, DLC is pretty much data. You're adding data to a pre-existing title. And so when we wanted to add bigger changes, DLC is not enough.
We're all just data, man."
Yeah. And that's why we thought making a sequel would be a good fit. Schreier then asked, was this sequel originally planned as DLC? Aonuma answered, initially we were thinking of just DLC ideas, but then we had a whole lot of ideas and we said, this is too many ideas. Let's just make one new game and start from scratch. I like this answer.
I mean, that's a common story in video game development.
Yeah. Like, we weren't going to do DLC, but we had too many ideas. Screw it, let's make a new game. That's how Super Mario Galaxy 2 came about.
I'm hoping that's how Super Mario Odyssey is coming about, too, is coming about.
I have to imagine.
Yeah. The fact that we haven't seen DLC, and like, yeah, just keep those graphics and do, I want pretty much the same thing so that we can get a Mario and a Zelda sooner.
Yeah.
No, this sounds,
game.
That's very good to me, yeah.
Yeah. And also, as far as like people, a common thing when people were reacting to this trailer was like, oh, this game's far away. This could be I could see this being next year.
I could too. I could see like potentially latest next year, maybe early 2021. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all. Yeah,
I got a feeling they're planning internally for late next year, but they didn't want to say it because they don't want like another Animal Crossing situation, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
But since this was being planned as DLC, so the planning process for this started in 2017.
Right.
At the latest, so
it was already at least being thought up, and
and they have the engine. Like we could tell from the trailer they're using the exact same engine, and that's great.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
And since it's based on the same world and stuff, a lot of the work, baseline work's already done. So
they're starting like obviously already like 3 steps ahead of when they started Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
and it's already been 2 years since Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, like I definitely.
I think it's coming sooner than some people think, but I feel like people more thought about it as like, okay, this might be sooner than we were initially thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I think also the wording makes it sound like a sequel to Breath of the Wild is now in development. It almost makes it sound like, oh, we just started. But I think they just said that because they didn't have a title and they just they had to say something.
Pretty much, it's Nintendo. It's a Japanese company. They word things weird.
Yeah, exactly. Weird. You can't read too much into it.
Yeah, and it's different from Metroid Prime and the Pokemon stuff because they actually showed a trailer with significant stuff. Like we got more out of that trailer than a lot of a good many games do within the reveal trailers.
Yeah,
like we're able to hypothesize what this game's about just based on that.
Yeah. No, I mean, Metroid Prime 4 has technically been in development and been some phase for years now, and we already know more about this game than we do about that one.
Yep.
Yeah. Or Bayonetta 3. We already know more about this than we do Bayonetta 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. Next thing, interview of IGN, Anoma said that the younger members of the staff were playing and being inspired by Red Dead Redemption 2.
I don't even know what to make of that. What does that mean?
What does this mean, Darby? Darby, all you need to know is the team that made your Game of the Year 2 years ago is being inspired by your Game of the Year from last year.
Literally, the only thing that means is that your horse could die. The only thing it means.
The only thing.
I mean, no, obviously that's cool. I just don't know how that's cool because they're so different. There are
probably some people like, oh.
I mean, yes, give it to me. I mean, I'm so.
No, I mean like, oh, like scoffing, like, no, not Red Dead.
No,
Just I don't like Red Dead.
Well, those people are wrong.
You're right. You're damn right.
I mean, I think this is from when they've talked about Breath of the Wild from the start. Like they've mentioned multiple times. It's like, yes, we have like people who have been working on Zelda since the original and like OG people, but we also have people on this team who grew up playing Zelda and like grew up playing other RPGs and Western RPGs, and they brought that into Breath of the Wild. And I think this is a good example of that. Like probably the older people like who have been working on Zelda forever, they probably didn't even play Red Dead Redemption or know nothing about it, but these younger people coming in, like there's like that type of influence, taking it from Red Dead Redemption, which is so different from Zelda. But even if like it just shows that like when you have more people and you have people who grew up with this shit and grew up with other things around it in modern times, they can bring in influences for everywhere, and I think it ultimately makes it better. That's why Breath of the Wild is so different, but it's such a breath of fresh air, you know.
Breath.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the inspiration they take is more story focused.
Yes, yeah. That is like the biggest like obvious area that this game could improve on Breath of the Wild. Honestly, that's the only area I think that needs improving from the Breath of the Wild formula.
Like
and
main
dungeons.
dungeons.
Yeah, and dungeons.
Those two things.
Yeah. And I want it to have its own things, obviously, you know.
But I think the story is more of a necessity than the dungeons, I think.
Yeah.
I think most people are. Though there's some Zelda purists like, the dungeons needs to be great, and that's the main thing that matters.
I mean, I'm okay if they have their own complete new thing. Like, shrines were completely new. I'm okay if they don't go back to dungeons and it's something else
I'm
completely
really
new.
hoping they don't come with some BS reason to have like 100 new shrines.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, the shrines are really cool, but I do kind of feel like that was a one-trick thing.
Yeah.
Like, that was not something that I want. I don't want it just to become every Zelda game has 100 shrines, because it's like, you know, that's a lot, and that could get tiresome. I think it's definitely going to have something to do with saw everything rising up. I expect like there's going to be dungeons or something that rises up out of the ground. That's the new thing. Again, I worry that just means all the shrines rose up. You know, that would suck.
I'm just ready for Zombie Ganondorf. I know also while talking to IGN, would not confirm or deny whether there was co-op in Breath of the Wild 2 or whether Zelda will be playable, saying it's kind of interesting that you bring that up, because in Breath of the Wild you see Zelda and Link together often too. So to go straight into the thought of co-op is very interesting to me. Stop being coy.
But they were being so coy when people asked them about this before, and then Zelda didn't end up being playable. So I refuse to get that too excited about their caginess, because, you know, it would be great. I mean, and I think that of all the Zeldas we've seen in like Zelda history and like in the history of the series, this is one of the ones that feels the most like, let her be playable. Like, she seems like a crucial part to the story. She seems like there's a lot about her that seems like it would make sense for her to be playable. And part of it, like her new design, like her haircut, she looks, you know, more like
I just thought of something. What if part of the reason they cut her hair is because she's playable, so they don't have to do as much with hair physics?
They animate the hair physics, and very well might be. Very well might be.
Getting her model closer to Link's.
It looks cool, so I'll take it. Yeah, whatever. But no, I hope so. I mean, and co-op could be cool.
Yeah,
like if they do it in the right way. You know.
Yeah, I feel we got a more likely chance of Zelda being playable than co-op, though. Yeah. Co-op could be very difficult in this game. How to make that work?
Yeah. I imagine it would be a drop-in thing, but then it might feel tacked on.
Yeah, I'm pulling more for Zelda being playable.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. I mean, it would be really cool if, like, they were both playable and you, like, switch between them at different parts in the story. Like, you switch over. And
or there's some dungeons, like, they're separating. You got to do stuff on both sides.
Yeah.
To make it work. So
that could be
there are
cool.
a lot of cool things they could do.
Or even like you can choose which one you want to play, and in some dungeons there's certain things you can only do as Zelda, so you want to go back as Zelda, and stuff like that. Yeah, could be cool.
Yep.
But the reality is, Zelda probably won't be playable again, and we'll be disappointed.
But then we'll play the game, and then we'll just
the game will
we'll still be happy Zelda's not playable, but we'll love it. Yeah. Speaking of games, we'll probably love Darby. Let's talk about some more Cyberpunk.
Wake the fuck up, samurai.
While talking to Prima Games, CD Projekt Red UI coordinator Alvin Liu said that they are talking about having expansions for Cyberpunk 2077 like Richard Lee had with Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine.
Bring it on. They basically made a whole nother game with that DLC, so like, bring it on, man.
I'm interested. That'd be crazy because it is also that way in The Witcher, but it feels like in Cyberpunk your character is gonna be a lot more personalized, obviously with the look and all that. So.
Yeah, seems like it'd be hard to make a almost one size fits all DLC thing.
Well, I can see Witcher 3 is crazy with the whole characterization, your choices and stuff, but Geralt's still Geralt.
Oh yeah, this is way more. Yeah, this is obviously way more.
And see how they do that.
Be hard. It seems like it'd be challenging from a storytelling perspective.
So Darby, we had that E3, behind closed door demo that we didn't get to see.
Yeah, sadly.
And we were wondering, like,
they
when
didn't let
we
nerds
see it
at large in. I'll understand.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe we should have been at E3 and we were at the end. But we did. We have learned when we will see it. CD Projekt Red community leader Marcin Mamat has confirmed that the E3 Behind Doors demo will be revealed to the public after PAX West. PAX West starts on August 30th and ends on September 2nd.
Too long, but
yeah, it was about the same time as last year, I think.
Yeah. I guess I'll just have to go back and watch that 48-minute one again, and just wait. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bummer. I doubt it's gonna be that different. So it's kind of one of those things like I wish we could have just seen it at E3, but it is.
No, it's gonna be the exact same thing. But yeah,
it is what it is, I suppose.
They gotta make the journalists feel special.
Freaking shills, corporate shills.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I'm not.
So excited for this game, man.
Yeah,
man, I need this game right now.
We gotta wait a while, Darby.
At least we'll have a few things to hold us over, but most of them are like right before it comes out.
Like maybe this game. This comes from Wesley Yinpool from Eurogamer. The Last of Us Part 2 looks set to come out in February 2020, according to various reports. When asked when the hotly anticipated Naughty Dog sequel was coming out in a recent interview, Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie, sounds like she attempts to reply with February, but she's interrupted by the interviewer as she mouthing the "fuh." This tallies with a tweet from Kotaku's Jason Schreier, who said a couple of weeks ago, The Last of Us Part 2 got bumped from fall 2019 to early 2020, possibly February. Video game analyst David Yolamad then took to Etc. to back up the suggestion, saying February 2020 is the current internal date at Naughty Dog.
Man, you can't slip up for like a second. The internet will be all over it.
Yeah.
Kind of feel bad.
Yeah, I mean... We would still kind of have this information without Ashley Johnson, but
this is what we figured.
Yeah, but it does do a Lord. That's Ori and Last of Us in 1 month. Then 7 like early the next month, and then Cyberpunk the month after that. And that's just what we know of.
I'm telling you, it's happening. It's going to be Last of Us Part 2 last week of February. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
So Darby, if let's say those 4 Last of Us, Ori, Final Fantasy, and Cyberpunk all hit those dates, and they all live up to all our expectations. Is that the greatest 3 months of gaming ever?
Probably. At least for me, yes.
Yeah. I mean, like,
insanity. I mean, I remember Infinite and The Last of Us coming out, like, back to back was crazy. Yeah. This is basically that happening 4 times.
Darby, our, like, most anticipated games of 2020, when we get to that end of the year, is going to be so boring because 4 of our 5 games for each of us are probably going to be those 4 games.
Together, like, they all happen forever
like
ago.
It's got to be something really good I'm forgetting about, or something gets announced that takes spot from one of those games.
If you had like the betting line, you would not be making much money off of predicting those. Now, like if you said like Jeff and Darby's game of the year is going to be Halo Infinite, that'll get you a lot of money. That'll pay out. That'll pay out. It's a long shot, but that'll pay out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really wish that The Last of Us Part 2 could have kept this year. Like, I mean, I know that like game development happens, but like the end of this year would have been such a better time for us. Yeah. You know. And honestly, for like a lot of people, I think a lot of people are going to be into a lot of these games in early 2020. We're going to be far from the only ones being like, I can't play everything.
Yep. At least Last of Us Part 2 and Ori should be the shortest tail bag.
So Jeff, Desire Index real quick. Cyberpunk, Final Fantasy VII, Last of Us Part 2. On the spot. Desire Index.
It's hard. Darby, I know this might hurt you, but I'm from Final Fantasy VII at the bottom.
I figured.
But if you had a long list of games, it'd be like at the top.
Yeah, it might be 3.
Yeah. See, what's hard is one's a sequel to one of my favorite games of all time. The other one, the potential is too insane.
The possibilities are endless. I have to say Final Fantasy VII Remake, obviously, number one. I have to say The Last of Us because it's just more of a sure thing that I can grasp and get excited
I'm going to go with that.
And
Last of Us, like, it's... Darby, that game's going to make us cry.
Absolutely. Probably the first, 10 minutes. Yeah. But Cyberpunk has the potential to go above and beyond everything.
Oh, yeah.
But if you talk about my desire right now, like Johnny Silverhands, Keanu Reeves, I'm into it. I'm so in. I'm in, right now. Give it to me. I would sacrifice, cut my arm off if I get to play it right now.
Darby, but can you believe you live in a world where potentially in a 3-month period, Ori's your fourth most anticipated game?
That doesn't seem right, but
this is the world we live in.
Pretty fantastic.
Speaking of Microsoft, this comes from Brad Sands from Ferrot. Last year at E3, Phil Spencer at the end of Microsoft's keynote said that the company was working on new consoles for the next generation of gaming. At E3 in 2019, Phil's onstage discussion pointed towards one device, and now the path forward is becoming a bit more clear. In an interview with Business Insider, Phil states that the company is focused on one console, even though last year he said consoles. He joked that technically Microsoft did launch a new console last year, and Scarlett does make 2. But anyone who was watching the event and following interviews knows that he was preferring the multiple next-gen consoles. Further, the evidence and insiders at the company acknowledged that there were 2 devices on the roadmap for Xbox, Lockhart and Anaconda. Even though the company has released one new console and has another planned, I firmly believe that at E3 2018, Phil was referring to 2 next-gen consoles on stage. All this being said, Microsoft's current plan for its next-generation Xbox is focused on Scarlett, and all mentions of Lockhart, which was previously documented in several places, has now been scrubbed clean. The big question is what prompted the change in the strategy. Talk with various people inside and outside of Microsoft. Here's my conclusion as to why the device was removed from the roadmap. First, developers were having a harder than expected time creating next generation games that spanned across 2 consoles of various specs. As you might expect, developers are putting a focus on making games that will run around the lower end device first and then scaling up, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So pretty much it's because it was hard for developers.
Yeah.
For the 2.
I could imagine.
Yeah, and then from Microsoft's standpoint, they wouldn't be able to probably boast that they had the strongest console because the weaker console would be hindering the strong
one is always going to be taking down the other because you're going to have to build to, and because a lot of people are going to buy the cheaper one because it's cheaper. So especially if you're a third party developer, what reason do you really have to build 2 different SKUs of your game or something just for the smaller group of people that have the higher one? Maybe for internal Microsoft studios it makes sense, but Ubisoft has no reason to do that. I think like the insider said, I think it's very, very, very obvious that this was the plan. The plan was to have the 2. I still think it could happen. I don't think whatever Phil says here doesn't necessarily stop this from happening in the future, even if it's not immediate. Maybe this Anaconda or whatever comes out a year or 2 down the line, and it's almost like a Xbox One X situation, just more.
But it seems like we're getting the strong console, and they're killing the weaker one.
Yeah, or at least having the streaming box or something. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be the Xbox One X solution, but I could see them having another SKU maybe further down the line. But it definitely they're at least trying to get you to stop thinking that. Like, they're trying to dissuade that rumor. And usually these companies don't even comment on this. Like, they usually don't comment on rumors, which is basically what he was commenting on.
Rumors and speculation.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that he's actually coming out and saying things like that makes me think that this probably is, the thing going forward.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, how much this makes to me. I kind of see both things as far as like whether this makes sense for Microsoft. Yeah, I think it makes sense in the way of, especially the way they described it, of it would being a pain for developers. So you don't want the stronger box to be hindered, and you can't claim your whole strongest console thing if they are stronger than the PS5.
Yeah, or
say it's the best, and can't mean it. Also, I think the thing that hurts not having both console is, I feel like the weaker with cheaper one would have been appealing to people that don't care about power, but can get that in Game Pass, and they're just set for a cheaper price.
Yeah. Yep.
But maybe the bright side of this also is, to be competitive, the console they are going to, or Scarlet, let's say Scarlet. Scarlet is going to be cheaper than what the higher end console was going to originally when they had two.
Right.
Like, let's say it was going to be 500 and 300 or something. This Scarlet's like in the middle.
Yeah. That would be ideal. I mean, like, when you have less SKUs, you can kind of just go wherever you want there. Yeah. I mean, the two console thing was always seemed like kind of a gamble to me. I mean, it was one of those things that, it was definitely not a sure thing in my mind that this was the best move. But now that that's gone, though, Microsoft does have to have things to stand out. And I think, the way they have to do that is games. They're obviously like putting themselves in the right position to have that by buying all these studios that they're doing right now. I just, I'm not 100% sure if all those are going to completely net out for them by the time this console comes out, because you already have Obsidian and Ninja Theory kind of working on games that are basically being owned by Xbox games.
Yeah.
And Double Fine, same scenario.
I can't speak for Double Fine, but it seems like I can't remember. It might have been Benji Sales on Twitter, I think, mentioned Ninja Theory's, the way their team's set up. It makes it sound like that not too, they've added more people. It sounds like now they have multiple teams. So Bleeding Edge, so it seems like there's someone that's working on the whole single player thing.
Yeah, so hopefully that's a sizable portion of the team. But obviously,
I think I remember seeing it was a majority of their team.
Which makes sense. Bleeding Edge looks like more of a budget title. It looks good, but it looks like
good Game Pass game.
Yeah. It's definitely doesn't look like it probably cost less than Hellblade and whatever their next single player thing's going to be. So I do think, even like I said, this kind of puts them back down to, I think Xbox and PlayStation are going to be putting out very similar products. I think they're both going to have a box, and it's going to be a very powerful box. If Xbox is more powerful, I don't think it's going to be by much. I think it's going to be pretty comparable. And it's going to come down to the exclusives. Unfortunately, this is just the place that Microsoft's at. Sony's going to have my money. And barring something crazy, they kind of, like I've said a bunch of times, this makes it sound worse than it is, but they kind of have me held hostage. They have all the studios that have some of my favorite IPs of all time. Yes, I'm going to buy the console that's going to have exclusive Naughty Dog games.
Yeah, and also
it's going to have Horizon 2.
Also, it's becoming less of a thing, but Sony also, if we mentioned before, gets a lot of Japanese stuff. Xbox getting more of that, but Sony is confirmed to get all that stuff.
Yeah, it's still not enough to make me not buy that.
But with that said,
I do think we're gonna get to the point where I'm gonna be saying the same thing about Xbox. Xbox is gonna have they have Fable, they have Ninja Theory, they have Double Fine. It's gonna get to the point where I have to buy both of these consoles.
Not necessarily, because PC for Game Pass. That's where I was getting at. It's they're both going to be getting your money.
As long as
different ways.
As long as the PC side of it remains comparable, then then that's the direction.
You're at least going to be getting. I know this is not necessarily enough, but they're trying to build towards that. Obviously, they just did the PC. They're going to build library, probably comparable to the Xbox One at some point. Take time, but
Yeah,
you're at least going to get
fast.
all the Xbox Studio games.
Yeah. Hopefully that moves fast. But yeah, or either way, yeah, I'll be like putting money into the Microsoft ecosystem, but it will make like kind of next generation weird. Because if there's a bunch of people like me, then there's not going to be a lot of people buying their box, but that might not matter. In the
I think
long
Phil
run,
mentioned in an interview, like it's the consoles necessarily important. It's the games and the services. And
they don't care where they get their support and money.
Yeah, I mean, let's think of it this way. Let's say, you're paying $10 for the service. You'll be giving in the long run Microsoft more money than you buying the console.
Yeah, over
as far as like straight to Microsoft
over multiple years, especially. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's very different for the video game industry, but I think it's honestly a pretty smart strategy for the company that's basically in second place.
And not even mentioning like DLC we might buy for their games.
Yeah,
if we get it from Game Pass.
I mean, it's something like the longer the more and more Xbox Game Pass grows, the more like eyes are going to be on Sony. Like, hey, you don't have this. Yeah, you have a bunch of exclusive games, and that's great for now. But like, you don't have this. Like, when the Xbox Game Pass becomes this, just like you are stupid if you don't have this, which it will get to that point.
I mean, honestly, it'll take a little while before it gets to that PC, I think. But at some point, it'll be PC's like, hey, you game on PC. I don't have Game Pass.
Yep. So I'm okay with the one console thing. I just hope that I'm just interested to see how Microsoft. Honestly, the console thing is it's going to be powerful. It's going to be just as powerful as the PS5. I think I'm just more interested game wise.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
Microsoft does.
I mean, again, like we just said a good bit. You're still going to be able to play the Xbox games, which is all that really matters to us.
Yep. When Fable comes out, I have a platform that can play.
Hey, we'll be able to play Outer Worlds the day it comes out.
Hell yes, we will. Hell yes, we will.
So, Darby, speaking of Microsoft games and something we might play, I don't know. We'll see. D4T Industries has shared some new information about Halo Infinite in a blog post. The game will have LAN support, Darby.
LAN parties!
Split screen is already up and running, which is a big deal because they took it out of 5.
Yeah,
and people were pissed.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I remember from Halo. That's like my biggest memories of Halo.
Yep. Beta tests will start first on Xbox. There will be multiple beta tests, and they hope to expand the test as far as the scope goes and how many players get in, all that kind of stuff as we get closer to launch. So, those sites sound like they'll have multiple beta tests, so people will be able to get multiple times to play this game.
So it's a multiplayer shooter.
Yep. There will be armor customization options. Yep. Nothing too big here, but just more information. Yeah, of a game we didn't get too much information for.
At least
I'm very interested to see Halo Infinite. Its story is taking place after 5. So, it's not exactly a reboot.
It seems like Halo 6, just not named Halo 6 because they didn't want to put a 6 on it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that means the gameplay is different because I'm willing to try it out, especially since, Game Pass.
Yeah.
If it seems to be a big shakeup.
I mean, I could definitely, especially I'm going to have Game Pass, and this is a Halo game that's going to be launching on PC immediately, which is also...
Oh, yeah, no, it will.
Yeah, which that has not happened, obviously.
Yeah. And by then, all the other Halos should be on PC, so you'll be able to go replay them if you wanted to and play the ones you have.
And even before the Game Pass for PC was announced, I was already planning on buying the Master Chief Collection when it came out. So now I can just play it with this subscription. So like, I definitely am going to end up playing Halo Infinite. It's just, is it gonna like bring me back? Am I gonna like play this and be like, I'm back as a Halo fan like I was back in the day, or is it gonna be like, that was fun? Yeah. As I think we said on our E3 thing, if you haven't heard it, I mean, like, my take on the Halo Infinite trailer is just, as a lapsed Halo fan, that trailer did nothing for me. It was clear that trailer didn't seem like it was made for me, but the way they were talking about Halo Infinite, it seemed like it needed to be kind of made for me. It needed to be something that was going to be for Halo fans and lapsed Halo fans, to both. And instead, it kind of just seemed like, if you were into Halo all the way through 5, then you're like, yeah, Master Chief's back.
Which is not the biggest audience.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a big audience, but way lower than they're wanting to hit for this game. They're wanting to get people back.
Well, smaller than it once was.
And if you're me, I'm like, okay, I don't even really know what the story is at this point, so this means nothing to me. If it's you, then it really means nothing to you because you really don't know. So it's, missed opportunity. Yes, there's always next E3.
Speaking of missed opportunities, EA.
Just the whole company.
Let's go from Hope Corrigan from IGN. EA has defended the company who used randomized purchases, saying that they aren't actually loot boxes, but simply surprise mechanics.
Surprise!
PC Games In reports that during an oral evidence session with the UK Parliament's Digital Culture, Media and Sport Committee, EA's VP of Legal and Government Affairs, Kerry Hopkins, made the statement. Hopkins not only turned purchases with a random result as surprise mechanics, but also likened them to children's toys like Kinder Surprise eggs or Hatchimals. Hopkins then went on to speak as the ethics of such purchases when questioned by Scottish National Party MP Brendan O'Hara. Quote, "We do think the way that we have implemented these kinds of mechanics, and FIFA, of course, is our big one. Our FIFA Ultimate Team and our packs is actually quite ethical and quite fun, quite enjoyable to people," Hopkins said. We do agree with the UK Gambling Commission, the Australian Gambling Commission, and many other gambling commissions that they aren't gambling, and we also disagree that there's evidence that shows at least a gambling. She added, "Instead, we think it's like many other products that people enjoy in a healthy way, in like the element of surprise."
You sound a little condescending there, Jeffrey. just a tad. I want to surprise mechanics. That just seems like such a lazy
No, this isn't loot boxes. It's surprise mechanic.
This is like he got up into speaking. He's like, "Shit, I can't say loot boxes. Surprise mechanics.
It's quite ethical."
What are you doing the Donald Trump things? No one's more ethical than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This feels like a very EA thing.
Honestly, mainly there's not much to add to this. I just wanted to read those quotes.
Yeah. That's honestly, yeah, that's the biggest reason why we're here. I mean, do you have anything to add? Because I don't really. Obviously we've talked about loot boxes over and over again. It's something that I have like weird conflicting notions on, but you know,
quite ethical, Darby.
Surprise mechanics.
Yep. Speaking of surprises,
can I just whenever I pay for loot boxes, can they just give me a Kinder egg? Then everything's fine. It's all we'll drop all the lawsuits and everything. You just have to give everyone Kinder eggs when they buy loot boxes. I'm down for it. Yeah. Man, those things are gross when you think about it. I'm sorry, when you think about it. It's like a toy inside of a thing you eat.
Yeah.
Inside of a chocolate egg thing. That's really
maybe it was just
it's
me.
Weird and gross.
Maybe it's just me, but whenever I had this thing when I was young, I was like, this chocolate's awful.
Oh, it's terrible. You had suffer through it to get to the toy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the toys were never even that great. If you just saw that toy hanging on a rack, there's no way you would buy that toy. Yeah. But it's in this awful chocolate, so for some reason you buy it.
Damn surprise mechanics!
And you don't even like the chocolate. Maybe this is like loot boxes. You don't even like the game you're playing.
It's quite ethical.
You don't even like the game you're playing. You're buying these freaking things to get freaking shaders.
You know what else is quite ethical, Darby? NPDs.
Yes. So ethical.
Let's get to the top 10 / a little extra, Darby. Okay, number 1, Mortal Kombat 11. 2 months in a row.
Woo-hoo! Go ahead, Boone.
Number 2, Days Gone. 2 months in a row.
That's actually kind of surprising.
I think Days Gone is going to be like Far Cry last year. Maybe not necessarily to the exact numbers. But
how is Days Gone sales going to compare to God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Uncharted 4?
Not high, definitely lower than Uncharted. Probably not as high as God of War. Could get higher than Horizon.
Could.
But so yeah, here's the thing about Days Gone. The reviews were kind of middling.
Yeah.
No one from those was saying it's that great, but it's like Far Cry. It's selling a lot.
I think it's probably another one of those things like Far Cry and Ghost Recon and whatever. Regardless, I think this is selling to a lot of people who don't give a shit about review scores and don't even see them, because I think it has a style and a
setting
that is just apparently a very mass appeal setting. Zombies are just huge for everyone. Yeah.
I've said this before. I worked on ESPN. They show the commercial for it all the time.
Because
they're marketing it.
They know it's a mass appeal setting, just like the Ghost Recon, general war settings or whatever. That's very mass appeal.
I'm honestly surprised Sony has not given a number for this. Like normally, like with God of War and Horizon, they gave out a number after a little bit, saying, "Hey, it did this much, this fast, and all that kind of stuff." With with Spider-Man stuff, we haven't gotten any numbers from this game.
I mean, like,
it's been out 2 months.
Some of the trouble with NPDs and stuff too is like we have the rankings, but we don't have the numbers. This could always be a case of like it's June, so video game sales in general just aren't that high. Or May, so yeah. I mean, same difference. It's summer, so video game sales. But in general
even from other countries, and
just
stuff,
like State of Decay 2 was number 1.
Yeah,
but I don't think State of Decay 2 sold that much, but it was number 1 last year in like June or May.
Well, Mortal Kombat, for example. Well, going to Mortal Kombat, I think I saw something. This was his best like second month ever.
I think Mortal Kombat is doing insanely well. I'm just saying after that, we like Days Gone being number 2. It could actually not have sold all that much.
But I keep on hearing stuff like from insiders that have like more exact numbers saying, it is selling insane, and it's like getting high up rankings and number 1 in all these different countries. So it looks like by all accounts, it is selling really well, or at least more than we all thought it would. It might have.
Yeah,
but we're not getting numbers, which is still weird.
No, I was very cynical about it. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't change us wanting to play it, but
no, but it's still
number 3. Total War 3 Kingdoms. This is actually pretty damn good for what, PC only game?
And wasn't it like it came out like 2 months ago or last month, or is that the one that just came out?
I think it just came out.
Okay, I thought it came out before.
But we really don't see like PC games on here.
Ever, yeah.
That's that high now, so good for them.
Yeah,
heard really good things.
It's wild just how little I know about Total War. I know like almost nothing about it, but.
Number 4, Rage 2, no digital sales. It's weird having to say that for something that's not a Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Number 5, Grand Theft Auto 5.
And see, this is another thing. Like, whenever you see GTA 5, like, GTA 5 is always in the top 10. It just always is. But, or at least in the top 20.
It's newsworthy when it's not.
Yeah, but whenever, you can kind of tell how big a month is by how high it is. Because it's usually at the bottom of the top 10 or near the bottom. But when it gets all the way up to 5, that's usually the summer months when just video game sales in general are down.
Yeah.
That's just usually how that works. So it's one of those things you can kind of gauge by. And yeah. So GTA 5 being 5 makes me think it's a decently weak month.
Yeah. Number 6, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, no digital sales, still doing really well, Darby.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 8, MLB 19 The Show. Number 9, Minecraft, no PC digital sales, I believe. Number 10, NBA 2K19, and a little extra number, number 19, in his debut month, Team Sonic Racing. I had that it sold well, apparently, or at least beat the last game, and I think there's a reason for that. I'll get to in a minute, but that's not great.
Wait, you said it did sell well? Or?
I saw some stuff
in May sounds bad.
No, it's before this number that I heard some stuff about selling well, but I think people were just comparing it to the last Sonic Racing Transform ever. But that game was a case of it sold abysmal when it came out.
Gotcha.
But the good word of mouth, because it's actually a really good kart racer, means it's sold over time. So,
what is the thought of this one? I honestly have not seen anybody talk about.
Like it seems like the mechanics are pretty solid, but the power ups are so weird because they're using those little ghost things from the DS games, and no one knows what the hell either one of those. They're just weird, random ghost shaped things.
Okay. And like the lineup is just kind of meh. Right?
Yeah.
It should have been Sega Kart.
Yeah.
Put Joker in there.
Yeah.
Put like Catherine in there.
Yeah. Okay, Darby, we're getting to the top 10 selling games of the year. Number 1, Mortal Kombat 11. Not surprising that it finally jumped. Number 2, Kingdom Hearts 3. Had a good run.
Yeah, that was a very good run.
Had a very good run.
But I think Mortal Kombat 11 is going to be this year's Ubisoft. It's usually a Ubisoft game that just rides it out. But I think MK11 will probably be there until October and whatever. And it might not.
Call of Duty's probably going to beat it.
Yeah, it probably will. But that
I can't think of any. Maybe Borderlands.
Yeah, maybe.
Borderlands is the only thing I can think of that might have a shot.
Yeah.
But that's questionable.
It is questionable, yeah, for sure.
But number 3, Tom Clancy's The Division 2. I'm honestly shocked this is below Kingdom Hearts still.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts sold like way more than I would have thought.
Yeah, baby. Something that sold a lot less than I thought, despite being number 4, Anthem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number 5, Resident Evil 2.
Feels good.
Yeah.
Hanging on.
Number 6, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Pretty good considering it came out last year.
That was very good.
Number 7, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Nice.
Number 8, Days Gone.
Hmm.
So that kind of gives us an idea of coming out the same month, how far below it is Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
Big of a gap there is. Not that surprising or anything. Number 9, MLB 19, The Show. And number 10, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
I'm happy to see Sekiro in the top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have not happened.
Well,
I mean,
it also gives us a kind of an idea, maybe at least Days Gone might be doing well. This is just U.S. sales, but Sekiro's got a couple million in its belt, so
Yeah. Yep.
So also, I didn't write it down here, but I'll just say it for the sake of this information. Switch was the best-selling console again, best-selling one of the year. Not surprising. Like it's destroying the other two, which makes sense considering we're the end of the console.
It's the newer console.
Yeah, and the Switch is doing good in general.
Yep.
Okay, Darby, time to get to that main topic, and we're doing it in good time too, Darby. Okay, so Darby and I are about to do our biannual thing where we just go down the list of games that are coming out in the 6-month period and pretty much saying for each game saying how we think it's gonna do and all that.
Are we buying it? Are we selling it?
Yeah.
Are we getting rid of it? Are we pawning it at the pawn shop?
Yeah.
Are we passing it on to our cousin Greg?
Yeah. And when I say how we think it's gonna do, we're talking kind of commercially and critically. Just however.
Yeah.
Depending on how the conversation goes. I got a couple June games on here that aren't technically out yet as the time of this recording. So let's go.
Nice.
Number 1, Judgment.
And you'll look at your thing, I guess. Or I'll just listen to you. I'll listen to your words.
It should be the same thing.
I'll listen to your words.
So Judgment, I think this can do pretty well.
Yeah, reviews are good so far.
Reviews are good so far. I think this can do well for it. The commercially.
I can already see this is the best selling, or at least the best launch for a Yakuza game
in the U.S.
ever. Yeah, or at least in the U.S. Yeah. I could totally see that end up happening, especially just good reviews, giving it a kickstart, and then I've already seen some people have been able to play it early, being like, seriously pick this game up. Like, whether you're a Yakuza fan or not, pick this game up. You know,
too many games. So I'm sorry.
Go back and play Yakuza 0. I got it for like $10. You can do the same. But I think it's obviously it's not going to be like a huge seller, but I think like relative to its cost and relative to the other Yakuza games, I think.
Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping all the effort they've been going to localize this works for them. Yeah, with the voice acting and all that. Next game, come out the same day, June 25th, Samurai Showdown.
Really pulling for this game.
I am too.
It
looks really cool.
I'm super excited to watch people play a lot of Samurai Showdown. I'm sure I would be very bad at it, but it seems like a very unique fighting game. Mm-hmm. Like with the sword stuff and just the like, I don't know, it just feels different, you know.
Yeah. Our style looks really cool and all that. Character designs look dope.
Yeah. So. I don't see it selling like a
particularly
tremendous amount. You know, I think it's going to be still kind of a niche like fighting game community thing.
But it obviously looks like it's a budget game. Yeah, which is fine. But
how much is it?
Honestly, not sure. Maybe like $40 or something.
Yeah, my guess would be 40.
But reviews thing came out today and they are positive so far.
Nice,
very positive. So that is good. Next game coming out June 27th, The Sinking City.
It's gonna sell miserably, but I think it's gonna review.
It's gonna have a kind of cult following.
Yeah, it's gonna
including Mr. Jacob Hamill.
Oh yeah, I feel very confident about two things. We're not gonna it's not gonna sell well. We're just never even really gonna hear about it selling or anything. It's gonna have like review scores in the 60s. And it's also going to have people saying, like, I love this game, and it's one of my game of the years. Like, I think all three of those things are going to be true. I think it's going to be a really fun game and a really great game for its audience. But I don't think the mass, I think reviewers are going to tear it apart because it's going to be janky. It's going to have problems, but it's also going to be a really cool game. I mean, this is, if you haven't seen it, it's like I can't do it justice. I'll wait for Jacob to be here, but it's like a Lovecraftian thing mixed with like noir, elements and everything. It's very like Deadly Premonition almost with this like jankiness, but the story seems really cool and the setting seems really cool. Yeah. I'm excited to sit at this table and hear Jacob talk about it for like an hour and me just be fascinated.
Yep. Next game coming out this Friday, June 28th. Mario Maker 2, baby. Well, I already got it. It's already on my Switch. So I'm waiting for it to unlock.
Hack in and unlock it, Jeff. Use your hacking skills.
Because I know how to do that. So yeah, I'm very excited for this game. Impressions are already out there because people have had the game for a while. It seems like it sounds like before E3 that people have had it.
Oh well.
If I remember, like the Game Explained said there are some things it seems like people have a problem with, like some stuff with the building. As far as it just seems to come down to people really miss the touchpad from the Wii U version, which is what we expected.
Yeah, I mean that seems like the preferred way to build. I think. I mean, like having to move around the stick thing.
Yeah,
just never
and the
really
co-op
plays
thing is not the best as far as making levels.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah. Stuff like that, but
could
overall,
you, if you got a stylus, could you do it in the same way? Like
they're
you can
actually
do it in
no, they're actually like it actually comes with a stylus in the UK.
But not. Oh, I remember that now. I remember that. But like people who've used the stylus, does it work just as well as the Wii U did? From what
I honestly don't know. I haven't heard those conversations. So dependent on it, how much I get into and all that kind of stuff. If I can find it, I might get a stylus.
Yeah, just obviously.
What sucks is though, for the sake of streaming, it makes it harder.
Yeah.
Like because we can't put it on the thing and do it.
Even for us playing, like whenever we had the Wii U and we had Mario Maker, we would all sit in the room and we would like you'd be doing stuff there and we could see what you're doing. Obviously, if you do it here, no one's gonna be able to see what you're doing. You're gonna have to put it in, take it out, do this, put it in, take it out. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that kind of can't be helped, but I do understand that's gonna be. But this game's gonna sell very well.
Oh yeah, baby.
And I still think it's gonna be a really good game.
Unless I'm forgetting something, predicting it, not an outlandish prediction, even if it's coming out late, probably gonna be number 1 for June.
I can't think of anything else in June that would really.
Crash Team Racing now. It's going to sell really well, though.
Unless Mortal Kombat 11 just continues to just completely.
I think Mario Maker's got a third.
I think so too.
Mortal Kombat's third month.
I think so too.
Yeah. So next game, July 5th, Sea of Solitude's finally coming out.
Oh yeah, have we even seen that really recently?
Not really.
I mean,
it might have something at EA Plays or whatever, but EA sucks and didn't really promote their EA originals.
Yeah, because they just like talked about it, right? It was like just like a little panel thing.
Yeah. So
and the game comes out in like weeks, or like next week or the week after. Whatever it is. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Next week, next Friday. So I'm interested to see how this game is.
It's one of those. It might live and die off of reviews. It's gonna need to have people saying like, "Holy shit! Don't sleep on this game." It needs that.
If I get that, I'm probably jumping.
Yeah. If it doesn't have that word of mouth, then I think it'll be dead in the water.
Yep. Okay, so next game, the biggest game of the year, Darby, Dr. Mario World for mobile.
I have no clue. I honestly have absolutely.
It's going to be the biggest game in the world.
I have zero clue how big Dr. Mario is. I have not heard a soul talk about it, but it could be huge. I just don't.
Okay, I'm putting you down for it, Darby. You're reviewing for Nerds at Large.
Okay. Is it free?
I think so.
Okay.
I think Nintendo learned their lesson at the Super Mario Run.
All right, you'll hear my very structured review. And
okay, I'm putting you down, Darby.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's set in stone.
My name's on it.
Yep. Next game coming out July 12th. Dragon Quest Builders 2.
I just want that narrator that was part of the trailer to just like follow me around and narrate my entire life.
Yeah.
I just need that kind of energy in my life. Mm-hmm. Not going to sell well, but it's Dragon Quest Builders.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool, but Dragon Quest already doesn't sell crazy worldwide, and Dragon Quest Builders is certainly.
I think it's going to sell well for what it is and all that, its budget and all that, especially here in the West, but yeah. No people excited. At least I think once my help it's one of those things. It's coming out on Switch day one, and for a lot of people it's like, hey, that's a perfect Switch game. Since Animal Crossing got delayed, I can see some people being like, okay, I'll pick this up. Yeah. Example is my sister. She really wants Animal Crossing. She's like, should I get this? I was like, it could be a good time killer between Animal and Animal Crossing stuff. She likes Dragon Quest.
This seems to have a lot more just content too, and just like story stuff, and
so. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good game. People are gonna love this.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah. So. I mean, it's been out in Japan for a while, and everyone knows. Quality
product. Something that we're not completely sure how quality is. Marvel Ultimate Alliance still coming out July 19th.
Yeah, I wonder how far that Marvel name's going to carry this.
Here's the thing, though. It doesn't need to sell as well as like Spider-Man to do well. Because it is 100% a budget title.
And it won't.
Obviously, but yeah.
But I mean, I could see it doing decent just from the Marvel.
Switch games do well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna light the world on fire, and I think review scores and everything is gonna be like. I think like we all know what this game is, and I don't think it's gonna be any more or less than what we expect. I think it's gonna be a fun kind of like mindless game to play with other people. You know, I don't think the gameplay is gonna be anything that crazy, but it's just gonna be a fun like chaotic 4-player thing. Like you know what this game is.
Yeah. I kind of wish it was much, much cheaper so we could consider getting it, but probably wouldn't because it could be a fun thing with our friends.
Yeah, but for any money, really, I don't like. I'm not very interested in it. Like, let's just
put it on Game Pass.
Just freaking play Diablo. We just need to play Diablo.
We do. Olivia already got it, so we need to jump in. Next game, I already put us down for a Darby. Fire Emblem Three Houses on July 26th.
Yeah, I don't know, Jeff. I'm on the fence about it. I just really don't know. I'm legitimately like not even starting games right now because it's not Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's just like I could play this game, but Fire Emblem.
Yeah, but you got a month, Darby. Just pick a game that you know will take you over a month.
I'm just kind of in between. Yeah, I'm still working on Final Fantasy VII a little bit.
I wasn't pushing for another big game after, or something substantial after Ori, because Mario Maker comes out this week.
I'm not legitimately. I'm not doing that because of Fire Emblem. I just like right now nothing's clicking completely right now. Yeah, whatever.
Just to play something in Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with dabbling a little bit right now. I can just be dabble. This can be a dabble time. Dabble time. Fire Emblem. It's going to be incredible, I believe. I wholeheartedly believe it's going to be like exactly what we want from a modern console Switch Fire Emblem game. I am concerned about sales just because there has been like criminally low anticipation for this game. I don't know. I'm a little concerned that it's going to kind of fall into the area of Switch games of like we just stop hearing about it, and like when we get to the end of the year financial things, I mean, like I don't think it was ever gonna do the like incredible sales, but I'm worried it's gonna underperform decently.
I feel like if it's as good as we're thinking / hoping it is, word of mouth might do it, especially considering. I mean, there are other Switch games which we'll get to, but Fire Emblem's kind of its own thing as far as the Switch marketplace. It's like it's a big Nintendo exclusive JRPG.
Yeah, I just think they're going to be chasing that awakening forever. Like it's just like to get those kind of numbers and that kind of.
Well, even awakening numbers weren't crazy. It's just like a couple million, maybe. No,
I mean at least for
good for Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem, yeah.
Like I'm still pretty sure the last Animal Crossing, the 3DS one, has sold about as much as Fire Emblem as a franchise.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Animal Crossing is very big, but yeah. I don't know. I hope that word of mouth gets a lot of people on this.
I honestly think I get what you're saying, but based on like Xenoblade numbers,
this is true. Yeah,
I expect this to be the best-selling Fire Emblem game. Again, it's not saying much, but the fact that Xenoblade is almost at 2 million.
Was Awakening $60?
No, it's 40.
I mean that helps a lot with selling Awakening, but and the fact that there are a lot of 3DSs out in the world. But I hope you're right. I mean, that would
game selling Switch.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
I mean, how many times despite the old $60 and a lot more 3DSs or whatever system we're talking about in the wild, Switch has the top selling Zelda, top selling 3D Mario, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I really hope so. And I do think there's a chance for that.
Again, the top selling Fire Emblem is not exactly a high bar to pass.
No.
But if Xenoblade 2 can get to almost 2 million.
I hope this just at least meets expectations so they can feel like we did the right thing with Fire Emblem, so we're going to keep...
I think reviews will help unless it just... Darby, what if it's like it does everything we want and like it's our game of the year or something, but then everyone else like, this was so bad, and we're like, what is with these people? Are we in a crazy world?
I already feel like I'm taking crazy pills when I look at other people talk about this game. I'm like, what are you talking about? This
I mean, legitimately, I feel like when I read some impressions, I'm like, are we looking at the same game?
Maybe this is
Where's was the stuff with the other Fire Emblems? It feels like it's going more in the direction that you people would like, but I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe we're the weird ones, Jeff.
We are not weird.
It's okay. If that's wrong, I don't want to be right.
It's true. Same day, Wolfenstein Youngblood.
I think it's going to be sweet. It looks really cool. I think it's going to bring a lot of cool things to Wolfenstein with the co-op thing and all that or whatever. But Wolfenstein on its own seemed like it underperformed, so I can't really imagine this.
It's unfortunately a thing. It feels like most Bethesda games that aren't from Bethesda game studios, and even then recently, even their games have underperformed greatly.
Yep.
But then they review very well and were well loved.
And I don't think this is going to be any exception.
Yeah.
Just with it being a DLC to a game that already didn't sell a ton, you know. Yeah. And obviously, it's not something I'm going to be interested in until I beat Wolfenstein, which I will do one day. But you know,
got Wolfenstein 2 on Game Pass, baby.
Yeah, I barely got into it at all on PS4, so I'm probably just going to start it on PC if I want to do it again. Obviously,
I think Darby, at some point we need to try to play Wolfenstein 2, on our own, and then if we enjoy it enough, we get this and play co-op.
Oh, it would be a blast. Yeah, it would be a lot of fun.
Okay, next game, Madden 20, August 2nd. It's going to sell great. We don't care. I honestly didn't know it was coming out then when I was looking this stuff up.
They should start putting Madden on Game Pass because I enjoy playing the Madden games. I just don't want to drop $60 on them. So I buy one every 4 years.
Even better because we probably don't care. Put the old Maddens.
Sure, dude.
Put last year's Madden.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I don't give a shit. If I go back to 2015 when the Bengals were good, put that one on there.
Okay, next game. August 20th. Rad from Double Fine.
Rad.
I expect this game not to review particularly well. Might get to a highish 70 if it does what it's setting out to do really well. It's not going to sell great.
Mm-hmm.
When's this going to be on Game Pass?
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right. That sounds like good rad coverage right there.
It's a Bamco game technically, so I might not get there anytime soon. But
Bamco's publishing it.
Yes, I guess it's not technically owned by Microsoft because it's probably owned by Bamco.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I was not too into it when I've seen it before. Looks kind of generic.
Give me Psychonauts.
Yeah, come on.
Next game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution on August 20th. Let's put me down.
Now, which one is this? Like, what, is this just like the card game thing,
yes.
like all the other ones?
Yes, it had all the cards. You can go play through all the stories with their with their show decks or a version of it that makes sense in playing it, the actual game, and all that. And it's a good way to learn the mechanic. It has most of the cards in it.
Nice.
You play online and all that, and I think it's pretty cheap. Maybe like $20 to $30.
Cool.
Yeah.
Does it look like an improvement from the other ones before? Is it just like
yeah? It has all the mechanics. It plays right. Yeah.
Motorcycles?
No motorcycles.
Damn. Yeah. Worthless.
But this would be
what's the JoJo guy say for useless? What is it?
But this would be a good game to just have on my Switch anytime to just pull out and like, let's play some Yu-Gi-Oh!
Just get Alex to actually pull a Switch out and be like, hey, Alex, it's time to...
I think I looked at some point looked for you guys like play log or whatever. I think there's only one game on his.
Yeah, I think
like Zelda.
He's played Smash. I think
Zelda. Wait, I think it might have just been Smash.
Yeah. I don't, maybe he never played Zelda. That would be sad.
Maybe he just kind of played with Olivia on hers.
That'd be depressing.
He's a depressing boy.
He's a depressing boy.
August 22nd, Oninaki.
That's the freaking whatever, the Tokyo RPG Factory game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't completely trust this studio because their games always look cool, but then apparently just
have problems.
Seem very generic. It just seems like they churn out games and there's not anything that special. So yeah, don't have much to say on that one. So okay. I think we can move on.
Control.
Woohoo!
Putting you down.
Yeah.
And I guess technically me. I'll play it for you.
I am a little worried about Control just from what people... Every time people have played it, there's been like jank issues and people falling through.
Apparently, we're a couple months away.
At this E3, they were like, hey, this is a rough build. They were like very upfront about it. But still, yeah, like you said, it's not like we're really far away from this game. Like the game is imminent.
Yeah. We're
So
2 months away.
I'm a little concerned that the control is going to be one of those surprisingly bad, or like even I can see people be like, the game is good when it works, and there's just lots of like.
It might unfortunately be kind of a wait and see thing.
Yeah, but overall, like I mean, just concept wise and just what I've seen art style wise, I'm very interested.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think if everything falls into place, I think Control could be a surprise hit. It's obviously not going to like sell insane numbers, but I think it'll probably be the best, one of the best selling, if not the best selling Remedy game.
Yeah,
I could see that easily. Yeah.
And Sorry to hear impressions from Ian Hink.
Yes, and this could be the start of Remedy being like a big studio that you like look towards. Yeah.
Next game out on August 30th. Astral Chain, baby, let's go.
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be good.
I'm planning on getting this one. I'm planning on using this as one of my coupon things to just vouchers.
This looks like one of the good Platinum games. Like you kind of roll the dice with Platinum, but
and it does feel like a lot of the times we can at least tell which one's gonna be the good ones pre-release. I feel like
it's usually pretty obvious.
Yeah. So that's a good sign. Everyone seems to be very hyped for this game. I don't know if it's concerning or not that this was not playable at.
Yeah,
I find that weird.
It almost just seems like a lot of developers are just more and more treating E3 almost exclusively as a QA testing thing and not an actual like getting reviewers to play your game thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't playable at all. Like not even.
But that's what I mean. Like they felt like they didn't need the QA testing, so they didn't go because they just weren't even worried about you seeing the game.
But well, people did see the game because they were on Treehouse and people. It switched a lot of people were like, okay, I'm getting this game 100%. I'm excited for this.
Yeah,
so.
It seems like it should have been there, but
So I think
maybe they just couldn't get the demo ready in time.
I think this game's gonna review well. It could review great if it nails what it's going for. Style wise, it's one of those weird things where like it's a Platinum game, so they don't always sell great even when they're the best of the best.
Yeah.
But this is a Switch exclusive that Nintendo is putting their marketing money behind.
Freaking Nier Automata sold like
that is
2 million
also
copies,
true.
So who
and they're putting the name, the director, they had the Nier Automata name behind it, which is why Jacobs all went on it.
I mean, probably one of the bigger reasons that Nier Automata sold 2 million is because you could see up 2B's skirt. You can't do that.
You say 2 million, Darby?
In Astral Chain, 3 million, whatever.
4 million.
4 million. Jesus
I think
Christ.
it's 4 million now.
Game never should have. I love it. I love that it happened, but it's like that reality shouldn't happen. Like weird ass Yoko Taro game selling 4 million copies.
I love it. So yeah, I'm excited for this game. It's gonna be great. Next game coming out the same day. The Dark Pictures of Man of Medan. I guess I'll kind of put mine now in here. I'm very interested in this game. I'm gonna wait to hear impressions for it too because this game can go really well.
So
really
high
bad.
ceiling, low floor. I think.
Yeah,
the full range is possible with this game.
But if I see like 8s across the board, I am buying it. We're playing it.
Yeah. I do not think it's gonna have the cultural phenomenon hit of Until Dawn. Just with the weird, like we get it, but the whole anthology thing, I think is gonna be more confusing to a lot of people than Until Dawn.
At least Until Dawn was a full $60 game. We got it when it was like 20 or something, but I think it's like a $30 game. So
yeah,
which should help it.
Help it and hurt it because it's also going to be seen as a smaller thing. I mean, that the lower price point can kind of hurt you sometimes when it comes to like recognition. But
sure. Also that day, it's a pretty big, interesting day. Blair Witch. That's a very good week, actually.
Kind of crazy how fast the turnaround is from we just saw.
Yeah,
we just learned that Blair Witch is a thing, and then it's coming in August.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this does. I don't expect it to sell great. Or if it's really good, let me change that. If it's like really good, it's going to be one of those things all the streamers are playing it, so it will actually sell pretty well if it's good.
Yeah.
Scary.
It could be a great, see everyone's reaction to it if it's super scary. I just feel, I feel like, and not that it's a bad thing, but I feel like the game must be, I would guess that the game is kind of short and small.
Yeah.
Just
hey, great streamer bait.
But no, that's
played
great.
In the streamer too.
No, honestly, that's probably better. If it's cheaper and smaller, if it's just good.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see if this will get the Jacob Hamill seal of approval.
Yes. Even though they ripped his heart out.
They did. They did. Speaking of Jacob, on September 3rd, Captain Full Body.
Seems like they're adding a good bit. Like,
Joker's playable.
Joker's playable. No. They have the Persona music and everything. Like, yeah. Cool. I've always thought Catherine seemed cool. It's just puzzle games aren't completely my thing, and this just seems like a brutally hard one.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it seems to be giving it transphobic stuff, which
That
I'm not a fan of.
That too. Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
it is unfortunate.
I don't have a date here. I think it's like September 3rd as well, or maybe September 10th. Monster Hunter World Iceborne.
Woohoo!
Not going to put either of us down yet. We're probably going to get to it at some point, just probably not at release.
Not at release, no. We have way too much Monster Hunter things to do, but it looks awesome.
I feel like this is going to something people talk about. I got a feeling the more they kind of talk about and everything, they kind of said so. This could be like a full game.
It feels like when you look at it feels like a new Monster Hunter game.
Yeah,
almost.
Might be a shorter one, but yeah. Monster Hunter World 1.5.
Yeah, it doesn't even sound that much shorter, just the way they're talking about it.
So good for them. I'm excited for all the Monster Hunter people that are going to be able to get in there day one, and everything we've seen looks dope.
Yeah, Jacob obviously is beating everything, so he might be in that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you will get some impressions from us around launch.
Well, speaking of stuff we'll get impressions for. No, we won't. Gears 5 comes out September 10th.
I mean, we could play it if we wanted to.
We could. I might give it a try.
I'm the thumb man. We can do the multiplayer.
True.
That's something we don't have to have any prior knowledge for.
This is true.
But I have no interest in Gears 5.
No, absolutely not.
It's gonna sell.
It's gonna sell
like a Gears game, so well, but not like
Here's the thing about as far as the critical reception. It can go either way. I feel like I know the showings haven't been great, but if they can kind of do what get that classic Gears feel, I feel like I can get it people. But it could also disappoint people greatly.
Yeah.
And kind of be like meh, and then we just don't hear about it.
This is another one that I kind of feel like we all know what this game is to a certain degree. I mean, I think it's going to be a Gears game, and if you like that, then great. I think it's going to be a well-reviewed game. It's just I don't think people like me and you are going to give two shits because it just seems like it's very much continuation of everything before in Gears, and I don't know. It's just there's nothing too exciting about it, but like I know there are a lot of Gears fans. Like it's going to sell well in comparison to a lot of games. Mm-hmm. Just it's kind of similar to Halo. I don't think Gears 5 is going to bring back the old heights of popularity that Gears used to have. Just don't see it happening. Whereas this next one, I do think might bring it back to the heights of popularity.
Yep, Borderlands 3 on September 13th, baby. Ooh, that's kind of unfortunate for Gears.
That too. Cause it's funny because both of them were kind of popular at the same time or similar times back in the day, and now both kind of coming back here. And just the more you see about Borderlands 3 and the hype that you see,
that's the thing. Borderlands never lost popularity. It just didn't release the game.
It didn't release games. Yeah. But just seeing everyone talk about it, seeing the marketing, just seeing everything, this game's gonna be.
It's gonna be huge. It's probably gonna end up being in the top 5 selling of the year, maybe. Top 10 for sure.
Very good chance. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I kind of think of like, well, Call of Duty's definitely gonna take one, and probably some sports games, so it could.
Remember talking to the mic, please, sir.
Okay.
You're talking to the right of the mic, and that's not where we talk, Jeff. That's not. It's not where we say our words.
But they need to see my face in full detail.
And I also want to play Borderlands 3 potentially at some point, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. You know what game I don't want to play?
Daemon X Machina coming out on September 13th, the same day as Borderlands 3.
Buy Daemon X Machina.
Okay. Okay, so I expect this game to
sell horribly.
Probably 7s/6s for reviews, generally speaking.
Sounds about right.
Not sell great. We've been talking about this whole, hey, these Switch games are probably going to sell better than we think. I don't think it's one of them.
I don't think it. Ain't it, Chief. For context, the reason I'm just so down on it is I played the demo and it just feel like it just wasted my time. It was just the demo just felt
I feel like
bad.
Most people feel kind of lukewarm on it after the demo.
Yeah, the demo was just very underwhelming and very non-impressive to me.
But Darby, you know what does look impressive and it's on the Switch doing so really well, coming out September 20th?
That Link's Awakening.
Yeah, boy.
Big old egg. I'm going to get that big egg, crack it. There's going to be a baby bird in it, and I'm going to fly in the baby bird. I've never played the game before. I don't know.
Do you know the twist?
I know. I don't know anything about it.
Ow!
Maybe I do, and I just don't realize it.
Okay. Then I won't say anything. So this game's going to be hype. I put us both down for it because we're getting it.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that art
it's going to be jolly.
Art style is killer.
Jolly
it's
as
jolly.
Hell. We're gonna make some dungeons.
And for me, like, 'cause I know nothing about this game, so it's so cool to me. It's gonna be a completely new experience.
Hey, we got Breath of the Wild. We got Breath of the Wild 2 coming. I'm all up for a nice, jolly 2D Zelda.
Of course I am. Yeah. And just looking at the gameplay at E3, like I talked about it. Like I was already interested in this game, but not as much as you and some other people. But watching that, I was like, man, I want this game. Like I just really this would go down so smooth.
Yep. I think this game's gonna sell well. It's gonna sell not as well as Breath of the Wild, of course, but
I'm gonna make the executive decision to skip some of these, like the next one.
Contra Rogue Corps. It's gonna review poorly. It's not gonna sell well.
Same for the next one.
Code Vein, it's same probably.
Yep.
I heard very kind of
bad
things from people
or
who
just
played.
at least just mediocre.
People had a beta thing and that people played, and next game, Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition coming out September 27th. I think this game's going to sell pretty well. I feel like I've already seen people get more interested in this game because of the heroes in Smash.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we got into so many games.
Yeah, and this fixes a lot of people's problems with Dragon Quest XI with the whole speeding up battles, the music.
I'm hoping this becomes one of those things like, wow, Dragon Quest has already sold more on the Switch than it did on PS4 and stuff, at least in the West.
In the West, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously not in Japan, but like in the West.
So crazy there, but
I hope we get that kind of thing.
Because Dragon Quest is so big, there are probably going to be a bunch of people that double dip in Japan just because of the extra content, which they're adding a lot.
Yeah. I might be jumping in. It kind of depends on money and just how many other things I've been suckered into buying, because it will be a... is it full $60?
Yeah,
I figured, because it will be a full $60 game, so we'll have to see. And there's plenty of other things I need to play, but I do really want to play that game.
Especially at this point, I just recommend just getting this version.
Yeah,
the graphics don't look like it'll be that big of a
downgrade.
I think
it'll be good enough.
And all the extra stuff is going to make
the
up
speed up mechanics, at least the main theme being orchestra. And
just all the other extra
the added on content. It's enough. It's being able to play it anywhere.
Yeah. Next game, FIFA, September 27th. It's going to sell great. It's going to review whatever FIFA reviews. I don't know. And we're probably not going to hear about it.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Interesting. Like, I've heard some like mediocre things about like just people who got to play it, but I still think it's a Ghost Recon game, so I think it's going to sell well.
Oh yeah.
Don't know if it's going to sell as well as Wildlands, because like I think there's just a little bit of confusion on like what this game really is. Like, is it a new game? Is it whatever? Like, it is a new game, but I just don't see as many people hyped about it. But I also didn't see
Tom Clancy games any year.
That too. But I also didn't see a whole lot of people hyped for Wildlands, and then it ended up selling amazing. So who knows? It's also coming out in the fall, which is a little busier than Wildlands came out, but we'll see.
Speaking, October 25th, pretty crazy day, Darby. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, it's going to be the best-selling game of the year.
I think it's going to be one of the best-selling Call of Duties in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think it's going to beat the last few by a lot. I think this is going to be kind of a resurgence of Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. Not that it ever went away.
Yeah, I've seen obviously this isn't indicative of everything, but I've seen people hyped on it on my Facebook feed, like, Modern Warfare's back.
And I think this is probably the best chance of me actually playing a Call of Duty game for the first time in years. and it's not a definite. I'm going to wait and see. But like, this is the most interested I've been in a Call of Duty. Like, the last one I played was Black Ops 2, I think, which was years ago. But I am interested because just the tone seems, I'm into it.
Also, October 25th, Medieval, the remake. This game's not going to sell particularly great. I'm kind of sugarcoating that.
I think they're wanting a Crash Insane Trilogy or a Spyro, and I don't think they're going to get it completely. But I do think it's going to be a good game. It's a game I want to play. Yeah. Just probably not that day because you see.
Also, October 25th is Outer Worlds with Darby and I, as we said earlier in the podcast, we're both be playing it. It's got freaking Game Pass, so we're going to play it.
You best believe. I mean, that's my fall game, basically.
Now, I mean, we were already interested in it, but we already got it on our subscription service. We're playing it.
Yep. It's Fallout New Vegas, but like space.
So this is going to be an interesting one, Darby. How do you think it's going to review and all that kind of stuff?
Outer Worlds?
Yeah.
I think it'll review pretty well. I definitely think there's a chance, just with Obsidian being I even when we saw like some of the gameplay in there's some of it doesn't look the best, like some of the character models, and I think there's going to be some jank and some other things like that, like kind of like there was in the old Fallout games or like in New Vegas. So I don't think it's going to be like 9.5, 10 or anything like that, but I think it's going to review solid, and I think for people who are into the narrative structure they have and the very like good or evil thing, I think we're gonna like it a lot, even despite some of its flaws.
I think it's gonna be a game a lot of people are talking about. It's partly because it is on Game Pass, so a lot more people are going to play this. So it'll be a game we probably hear a decent amount, maybe around Game of the Year time. Not necessarily as far as these are a bunch of people's favorite Game of the Year. We might see that for some people, but it's gonna be on plenty of top 10 lists.
Absolutely.
And I think it's going to sell pretty well as long as it nails it.
And they seem to be pushing it marketing like along with a lot of other heavy.
And here's the thing, I continually saw this as the top of list of like E3 covers. Like these were lists of best games that I saw or / played at E3. Outer Worlds to be consistently at the top.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
That's good news. November 8th, Death Stranding. It's going to be a weird one, Darby.
I'm calling it right now. I said it before when we talked about Death Stranding, but I think Death Stranding is going to be one of the most controversial games we've seen in a very, very, very long time.
Let's go, baby.
It's gonna Let's
get controversial.
There is gonna be some debates. There's gonna be some you're gonna tune into one podcast and hear about how awful Death Stranding is, and tune into another one who says it's like one of the best video games they've ever played. I honestly think it's going to be very split. It's going to be a weird fucking game.
Hell yeah, Kojima, put me on this ride.
It's a game that there's a 0% chance I'm spending $60 on, but I'm so much more interested to see people talk about Death Stranding and just to see the reactions than I am to actually play the thing. Infinitely more interested to
Darby,
hear about it.
That's the only way to truly experience Death Stranding, by hearing it from other people.
That's the real game. This is Death Stranding.
Kojima comes out and the people who played it, you're the losers. People who just heard about it, you are the winners. You experienced the Death Stranding. What are you saying, Star?
I also think I think it's going to it's obviously not going to sell God of War numbers and stuff like that, but I do think it's going to sell multiple million just because of how much talk there's been of it and how much hype and everything. I also think half of those people that bought it are going to hate the game. But where do you stand with all of this?
I kind of agree. I think it's going to be a very mixed thing, unless it's actually a lot more tame than it looks, and then it just people are just like, oh, okay, that was pretty good.
But even that would be very disappointing. I think a lot of people would be disappointed in that.
I need batshit insane Darby.
That's what I'm saying. There's no way that Death Stranding pleases everyone. No way.
I need Norman Reedus to give birth
on
a boat in the middle of lava.
Call it a shot.
I swear to God that happens. Don't clip us out.
Yeah, it can happen.
Yeah, so I'm interested in this game. I am considering everything that's coming around it. I'm probably not going to get it day one and be smart and wait for it. Wait to hear people impressions.
We will have Jacob Hamill on this
obviously
podcast.
Outer Worlds is probably going to take a little bit. So
Alex also says that he normally doesn't like to buy games that he knows nothing about, but he said Death Stranding is an exception. So we'll have Jacob and Alex come on here and discuss Death Stranding.
If I just see good reviews, I might be like, screw it. I don't want to get spoiled. Let's go.
I honest to God think that even if I see a 10, I'm not buying this game. I'm just not interested in it, to be honest with you. I'm interested in, again, seeing the reaction around it. But nothing I've seen looks that engaging to me. But it's just me.
Now, Darby, something that is truly engaging. Pokemon Sword and Shield. With the controversies.
Yeah.
Lots of controversies.
But the actual game.
Yep.
Seems like a Pokemon game, but it seems like it's doing a lot of cool new things.
I'm hyped.
It's going to sell a lot.
It's going to sell
but load. This is probably like we said that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu Eevee were going to sell Switches. We were fools. This is going to sell Switches.
Yep. And we're going to Nuzlocke it. Hopefully.
Get ready.
Yep.
Hype. Get ready.
Okay, next game. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Darby, I put you down for this game.
Of course. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I am, barring just this game is trash and broken. Yeah. It's I don't think it's going to be anything revolutionary, but it looks like a solid, awesome action game that's very deep into the Star Wars lore. They're not holding back, and they have the awesome sound effects, everything else. Like I think there's pretty much a 0% chance it's my game of the year or anything like that, but I don't think it needs to be.
It's gonna sell a buttload.
Oh, and it's gonna sell a lot. Yeah.
A buttload, Darby.
I wonder how its sales are gonna compare to like Battlefront, like the first Battlefront, or even Battlefront 2. You know, and those sold multiple million. Yeah. But I wonder if this is gonna sell more than that. But I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, it doesn't. The thing that this has going against it as far as selling to mass market people is Battlefront could put, hey, you can play as Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker and all your favorite characters. This is going to be, new characters for the most part. So
they need to be a Jedi. So
yeah.
Next game, Shenmue 3, November 19th. This game is going to be very mixed as far as the people who love Shenmue are going to love it. Everyone else is going to be like, this game is not good. And it's going to sell miserably.
It's obviously going to sell miserably, but this is one of those, I'd be like, don't even review this game because no one gives it. Like, Shenmue fans are going to get this game and love this game.
I need to watch the Michael Huber review.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Actually, he's not reviewing it because he kickstarted it.
Makes sense.
So they have a thing.
I honest to God think Shenmue 3 reviews are pointless.
Yeah.
Because it's not for
it's like Kingdom Hearts reviews.
Like, yes, of course your critical eye on Shenmue 3 is going to be that this is a busted-ass video game, but that's not the point. Like, it's not for you. Like, it's not for me. It's for Shenmue fans. It can come out with a 4, and Shenmue fans are still going to play it and enjoy it. I really do think Shenmue 3 reviews, because it's not going to make the game sell anymore. Like, this game's not going to sell well regardless of what it gets a review.
I want to experience this from Michael Huber.
I'm just saying, all those outlets, your Shenmue 3 reviews are pointless. Don't even do them. Doesn't matter.
Yep. Okay, moving on. Doom Eternal, November 22nd. It's going to sell well. It is going to review fantastically. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are going to have it as either Game of the Year or on the top couple of
9.5s. That's what's
probably good many of those.
Yep.
See, we talked about all non-Bethesda game studio games and Bethesda not selling well. Doom is the exception.
Doom
2016 is the exception to the rule.
Yep. And this seems like it's going to follow in.
Oh yeah, people were raving about his gameplay, and it looks great.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. I might get this at some point. I'm gonna play Doom 2016 first, of course.
Yeah. I wish it was on Game Pass.
It's not on the PC. Yeah. Well, don't you have it? I mean, I guess
I have
PC would be better.
PS4. I just want to play it on PC.
That's fair. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition coming out fall 2019. It's gonna sell well for it.
Yeah. I'm super excited for Jacob. I want to try it out. But
After Party Q3 2019. Woo-wee. Putting us both down. It's on Game Pass. Let's go. Though I guess we don't know if it's on the PC version, but you'll be getting it either way.
I'll buy this game if I need to.
So that's exciting. I think it's going to do well, for an indie game.
Make Oxenfree another game that you just randomly play. I mean, it takes like 5 hours.
I already have it on my Switch.
Play it.
Okay. At some point.
Play it.
Killer Queen Black, September 2019. I guess I'm going to put me down because it's going to be on Game Pass, baby. We're going to try it out.
This seems like it would be a super fun party game for us and our friends.
Hopefully, maybe it's PC. I don't know. Mario and Sonic at the 2020 Olympic Games, November 2019. We're not getting this. It's going to review okay-ish. It's probably going to sell buttloads.
Mm-hmm. They pretty much always
and people are going to find a lot of fun. I'm going to watch it and kind of wish I had it, but I don't want to pay. I'm not going to pay the money for it.
Yeah.
Life is Strange 2, Episode 5, December 2019. I'm just counting that as Life is Strange 2. Putting us both down.
Is that the final one?
Yes. So we're gonna finally play it then,
and hopefully
restart it.
Hopefully, a lot of other people do the same thing.
Probably on Game Pass. I'm gonna be pissed. Moving on, Panzer Dragoon Winter 2019. It's going to do well for its audience. People are gonna be happy. Probably not gonna sell particularly well. I have no idea how this game's gonna review. Probably not good.
It didn't look very good to me, but it seems like people were excited about it. Like people who are fans of the other ones. I just thought it looked like a mediocre, low-budget game.
I think this game has a release date, but I couldn't find it because no one really cares about it at this point. Biomutant.
Oh, yeah. That seems like it's been kind of a tortured game.
And I've heard bad things about the E3 demos. So
I have to.
It's going. I mean, I was thinking it was going to probably not sell well anyway, but at this point, I'm like, this game's going to sell terribly.
Yep,
it's going to review mediocrely.
It needed them.
I hate to be this way, but
no, this is the way. It's the truth.
It looks really cool, and I'm hoping things come together. But yeah, Concrete Genie, I'm interested in this game. It's probably one of those games I end up not getting.
Yeah, probably me too.
I got to be honest. Could do well for it being a smaller game.
It'll be a
Probably
PlayStation Plus game eventually.
Yep. Darksiders Genesis. Probably review pretty well.
The
May not
Diablo
sell
Darksiders,
great. Yeah. Next game. Digimon Survive. Let's go, baby. This game is probably going to get posted next year, I believe.
I'm interested to talk to you about this game because it looks really cool.
Yeah. I am very interested in this game. It's probably not going to sell particularly great, but with this kind of game, it doesn't need to sell great to do well for it.
Yeah.
It's probably. I can see it if it nails what it's looking like. It could review pretty positively.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see. I mean, it seems ambitious. It seems really cool.
Yeah. Next game, Final Fantasy VIII Remastered.
Put me down. I've always wanted to play Final Fantasy VIII, so like this. I mean, it's probably one of those I'll buy and then not get to it for a while. But like,
you're playing it.
I'm playing it. I mean, like, yeah, it's the follow up. It's the follow up to 7.
I'm putting me down too. Because it may not be for years, but I'm gonna do it at some point.
I mean, I've said like it's a somewhat controversial, at least in games media or whatever. But like, I like the 7 and the kind of like futuristic steampunk thing setting or whatever more than the traditional fantasy like Final Fantasy thing or whatever. And 8 was definitely more in that vein too. That's why like I think 8 would actually speak to me more than 9. Which is kind of blasphemous to a lot of things. Mm-hmm. The battle system is kind of confusing, but the thing is, people say a lot of the same things about 8 that they do about 12. So that makes me think that these people don't know what they're talking about, Jeff, because 12 is fantastic. So.
Did you see the comparison between this and the original? Dear Lord, this looks so much
better. Yeah. you didn't really get that when you were just watching the trailer without seeing them side by side.
But you were like, oh no, this is a big deal.
Yeah. Which I'm very happy for people because it's finally...
Yeah. Hollow Knight Silk Song. This is going to review fantastically.
And I need to play Hollow Knight.
Yeah, it's going to be up for Game of the Years.
100%.
If it comes out this year, 100%, because it's now a new game and not DLC. So this could be, honestly, Game Awards Game of the Year thing. I could see it.
That would be cool. That would be really cool.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, hopefully people won't sleep on this one at launch like they did Hollow Knight at launch.
They're not.
Hollow Knight didn't get the reception it deserved until Switch.
Yeah. It got a lot of people talk about it, but yeah, once it got Switch, it kind of exploded. So I'm happy for Team Cherry about that. John Wick Hex. This game looks interesting, Darby.
It does look really interesting. We need to know more, but it looks really cool.
Yeah. This game, Luigi's Mansion 3. It's going to sell well. It's going to review well.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see because it's kind of hard to know. Like the last Luigi's Mansion was so long ago. It's like I don't know how much that carries, but...
People are positive at E3.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not talking about critical. I'm not talking about commercial. Like, I just don't know sales-wise. But I do think Nintendo's going to be pushing it hard.
I think if Kirby was able to sell a couple million, a few million, I think this
that eShop is going to be Luigi's Mansion. I think there's going to be a big...
If this comes out around Halloween time, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Marvel's Iron Man VR. VR games don't particularly sell great anyway. I think this could do pretty well as far as, like, critical reception. Because it seemed like everyone was kind of like us, like seeing the gameplay, but then people got hands-on with it. Like, no, it's actually really cool.
Yeah, I'm still skeptical. I've seen a lot of people like come away from VR things being like, "This was really good," and then you actually get to it, and it's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of stopped trusting people after like the Batman VR thing or whatever. When you see that, it's like, this is nothing special. This is like a demo. This is like a tech demo, but people act like it was a religious...
Very cool, but yeah.
Yes, but people acted like it was like, this is the killer app for VR. I'm like, this. You get to dress up as Batman for a little bit. It's nothing that special.
That's all you need, Darby. Shantae 5. Haven't heard anything of this, so I kind of doubt it's coming out this year at this point, but I am excited. I'm going to get it at some point. May not be right away, but I'm excited.
Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah. Should I put his both down, Darby?
Oh yeah. I want to be a goose.
We're gonna be goose.
We're gonna be the best geese out.
We're gonna be dicks.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna steal all the bread.
They don't serve that bread.
They don't. Darby, a game I know you're getting: The Witcher 3 Complete Edition Switch.
A game that shouldn't exist.
Yeah, I know. So this game's probably gonna sell more than it should. And a bunch of people are going to say that this shouldn't exist when they play it.
Yeah,
and
I just really hope that people don't just completely be like, oh, The Witcher sucks after they play this. I mean, again, I would say anyone at home, if you have any other option for playing The Witcher 3, I know you like the portability of the Switch, but this ain't it. This ain't the one. My PlayStation 4 could barely run the Witcher, and it was already at the point like I would die, and it would literally take about 2 minutes to load back on the PS4. good God, the Switch. It's just we've seen it running and it looks like poop. I mean, like this game does not belong in the Switch. They're doing this for money. They're doing this just to get money, and it doesn't feel right to me, but they're doing it anyway.
Last game, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair.
No way it's gonna sell well, but I also don't think too much money was put into it. So
no, it actually looks pretty interesting based on what we saw. There was a treehouse segment for it. So I watched that. They kind of explained how it goes. I might have typed on the. I know I talked to you some more, but I can't remember it was on the podcast. The way it works is there's the Impossible Lair, which is what you're building towards, and you can go there immediately and beat the game. But the level is impossibly hard, so it's kind of like Breath of the Wild.
If you're good enough,
yeah. What you do is you go into the levels, 2D platforms like Donkey Kong Country, and once you beat a level, you get like a bee knight as a protector. So when you get hit and supposed to lose a life in the Impossible Lair, the bee takes the hit for you. So how many levels you beat means how many pretty much hits you can take in the Impossible Lair.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and there's between the levels like 3D little top-down overworld thing you can do, and it has some puzzles in it and stuff. So this game looks, as far as it's not necessarily as exciting as a concept as far as like what kind of game it is, but this probably honestly has more potential to be a good game than the original.
Yeah, like smaller scope, it might be a more just tighter
experience.
The 2D thing's probably a lot easier to make than the 3D, which was apparently super janky.
Yeah, and it looks fun, so I'm interested in checking this game and see how it does.
Yeah, just already feel like Yooka-Laylee is already just a brand that people are not excited about, and then this is just like a smaller 2D spin-off of that, and we are already kind of overwhelmed with great 2D games at this point.
Yeah.
So I just can't see this standing out. But even if it's good, I can't see it standing out. But yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully, it just gives them enough money to fund their next project, which is.
I will say this as far as it goes. Yeah, we get a lot of 2D ones, but right now is getting more saturated with the kind of difficult Metroidvania style games. Mm-hmm. So we don't have too many like Donkey Kong Country kind of 2D platformers, like kind of more straight up, or like Mario. Remember the Mario? So it can stand out in that way if it's good.
Yeah, it does have a little.
And it at least has a pretty cool gimmick with the Impossible Lair thing.
Yeah, that does sound interesting. It's just how many people are ever going to even hear what you just told me. Probably not many. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I just there are a lot of great games that don't end up being heard about, and I feel like this is going to be one of them. Alrighty, we're already about to get to a 2-hour podcast, so we need to get out of here, and I need to go sleep.
Same.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. We will be talking more about all of these games as the year goes on.
Yep.
Looking like a pretty good year in 2020. Looks like a better one. But
yeah,
it's insane. Insanity. All right, thank you guys so much. Go check all of our E3 coverage if you missed it at Nerds at Large, or at youtube.com/Nerds at Large. I just put a compilation of our best reactions, so go watch that. Jeff loses his mind tattoo smash announcement, and it's pretty fun. All right, goodbye.